Hello everyone! Today we're taking a look at CaddxFPV's new ready-to-fly kit. It's called the Protos. This has the new video system in it called the Ascent. In this kit, while it's not just a traditional ready-to-fly kit, the drone has some extra features for flight assist, as well as being a higher quality video transmission system. And the charger even has a feature we don't tend to see in ready-to-fly kits. And with all that, the price is pretty remarkable at $360 is what it should launch at. If you're interested in this sort of thing, there'll be a link down in the video description if you want to check it out. Okay, so we're outside with the Protos here, and I've got the kit. Unfortunately, I'm running out of time because this is a nice calm day. Finally got a nice calm day, but we do have some neighborhood noise going on, so we're gonna have to try to fight through that. Obviously, I wear glasses for those that aren't familiar, but my prescription's pretty light, it's pretty nearsighted. I spend most of my days doing technology work, so I have my glasses off, kind of hanging around my neck. And with some box goggles, I can't quite get them into focus, but with these I can. If you're someone who needs a diopter, they do have a diopter available for these goggles, and they secure in. There's, if you can see them, there's two screw holes, real small screws, that an insert with several different prescription changes could go in there to help you clear up any sort of vision issues that you might have. We'll measure this when we go inside in case you have a pair of glasses that you could buy or that you have that might fit in here. But I'm going to get everything powered up and ready to go, and then we'll start off flying. I should note that this does not record the OSD, which I would see in the goggles, and you would as well if you were in the goggles. It records an OSD file, and I'm not sure there's a way for me to incorporate that file into the video file that you'll be looking at. So I'll describe some of the values on screen so that you get an idea of what some of those values are as far as the flight modes and the throttle position, things of that nature, anything that I can pull off of the OSD that might be handy for this purposes. So hopefully the weather holds out here, but as you can see with the goggles, we have a light across the front, and it's got a little battery pack that does come with the goggles, and things just kind of plug in. It doesn't give you any tones when you long press the button on the front of the battery. When the lights on here, if you can see that, stay on, you should see something in the goggles. As far as the remote, I believe they call that the A-Link, and I should tighten these up just a little bit. And that does make a tone. You long press the power button and it goes doo-doo-doo-doo, indicates you're ready to go. And the last step before we're ready to fly is to take one of these batteries specific to this quad, and it just slides in. It's got some copper contacts right here, and we do have matching contacts on the battery. And then we have this slot on the top that slides in there. And so now we're ready to go. I'm gonna get things set and get the audio synced up, and then we'll take off. Okay, now I'm not quite used to the positions of these switches. They're not in the normal position for me, and I'm not really all that comfortable with this remote, so I may fumble around just a bit. I'm trying to remember here. So we're in angle mode. That's position hold. Whoa, whoa. Calm down there, quad. Okay. So as you can see, as I move the right stick, it's leveling out on its own. Whoops, I gotta focus here a little bit. So the nice thing is about, you don't have to, if you get yourself into a bad spot with angle mode, say you're flying too fast or you're just not comfortable, if you let go of the right stick, it'll flatten out as to its last calibration, and then you only have to control the throttle. We'll fly around just a touch here. So it's giving me an altitude reading of 6 meters. Battery is currently at 3.79 volts per cell as I fly around. It does not show me a throttle position on screen. This is not running beta flight. This is a different flight firmware. The flight mode appears in the bottom left, and it says angle A-N-G-L-E. And then across the bottom there's a black or a green bar that's kind of moving around as far as a meter bar would go, kind of indicating, I think, our signal strength. Oh, and there's our throttle position. It's in the lower right. As I'm kind of cruising around, it looks at around 50% on that. And then our RSSI is fluctuating a fair bit from 50 up to about 60, 75, I see. and it says our latency is about 32 milliseconds and our recording megabits is 18.45 right here. I'm going to hit the position hold, I think. There we go, position hold. This uses optical sensors or flow sensors, so I have my hands currently off the sticks and it's holding this position pretty well. Let's go up. So if I hit the, let's see, I still have control. If I want to move the right stick and then I let go, it'll position back out to that position. I can also go forward and backwards. I'm not using any throttle control here. Yaw. Can yaw around just fine. So that's a little bit on the position hold. Can we go up higher? Yeah. Position hold still allows us to go up higher. I've done most of my test flying so far inside. So let's see. What's it going to do if we're up about this high? It's about roof level. We're kind of drifting. Again, the winds are very low. 4 miles an hour right before I came out. So we might be getting pushed just a touch. Let's go over here. Still, oh, now it says ALT, altitude hold. That's interesting. I hadn't experienced that inside. So my hands are off the sticks. I think I'm getting close to the chimney. I better move away. Up above the roof line now. Hands off the sticks. Pretty stable. Pretty stable. Let's move out of this position. Okay. I am not very good in angle mode. It's just not a mode I'm used to flying. I'm used to flying in acro or rate mode. I do notice when the battery warning changes the text to red on the battery voltage. When I hit the throttle like that right there, it kind of goes red. So you don't get a center screen warning. You just get that lower left where the current battery voltages are. But I got a couple of batteries that this kit comes with, so this won't be our only flight. But for most people starting out in angle mode, it's fine, especially when it comes to learning FPV. It can be a aid to us to help us get used to the sticks. Been flying, it says 4 minutes and 23 seconds. Just kind of general cruising around. It does come with a fairly nice charger for a USB based charger. It has some lights across the front that indicate the level that the batteries are charged. And I believe it does storage charging as well. It has a button on the side, and when you press that button on the side, it flashes, and then I noticed fully charged batteries will start to decrease as far as the lights go. I don't have another way of measuring the actual voltage of the batteries, so I'm trusting those lights on the charger, as most people would. Whoa! Almost hit the chimney. I'm not used to having my angle limited so much. That's something else I should mention about angle mode, is that you can't like flip the quad over, and the amount of angle you can apply to the quad, either forward or backwards or left and right, is limited by the angle mode. Kind of keeps you within safeguards, almost like bumpers for bowling. Keep you out of gutters. So flights are now up to 5 minutes and 38 seconds. And our voltage on our first cell is 3.5 as I fly around here. About 7 volts total. Image is pretty clear. Let's do one thing here. Boy, I've got a lot of neighborhood noise. I apologize. Hopefully you can hear me. What happens if we go sit down here? We're close, but it's still, the bar on the bottom is reading like 1 bar or no bars. What about back over here? I've got to be careful of some of the water. Hopefully the weather continues to hold out. Yeah, it'll show 1 bar and then almost no bars or no bars on the horizontal bar on the bottom, indicating our video signal. And now it's starting to recover. Okay, voltage is down below 7 volts, 3.45, 46, 47. I'm going to bring it in, hopefully for a graceful landing. Oh, I had a little video glitch there. I don't know if it's just the flipping over or something like that. We're going to get another battery and go again. So real quick, I noticed something when it was upside down. These lights were purple, and now that I've got it right side up, it's blue. That's covered by the manual, but I can't remember all of it. But to get the battery out, you just lift up on this tab. It kind of unlocks it, and you pull the battery out, and you see the lights are now off. It is in there pretty good. So with the battery off, flashing lights, beeping from the A-Link remote here. So we're starting off the second flight. We're still in angle mode. 31 milliseconds, 32, 33 on the latency. About 17 and a half on the megabits per second for your recording quality. Right now I'm about 48 on the throttle. RSSI is at a negative 73. Just flying it around a little bit to cool it off a little bit, because I did plug the battery in for a little bit before I took off to get the cameras all synced up and whatnot. Let's do a punch over here by the chimney and just see. So that's the max thrust that it's going to produce right there. I'm adjusting a little bit to angle mode, as you can tell. It just takes time. Weather's holding out for me so far, so I should be very thankful. We had some rain really early this morning, and it's calling for more rain yet this afternoon. And then after the rain, the wind is supposed to pick up. Go into position hold again. Nope, that's not position hold. Oh, come on. I'm having troubles here. I've already forgotten where position hold is. Am I doing something wrong is the question. Well, let's land and start over. I don't know why the position hold is not kicking in. I'm pretty certain I'm hitting the switch. There we go, there's position hold. Let's take off again. You can hear the prop spinning. So you get up to about 50% throttle when you take off in position hold, and it will then launch. Even though the throttle position it's showing right now is 69. So you have to have your stick about halfway up. I'm not doing that. I'm not commanding the quad right here, so we're drifting to the left. Let's go back here over more to center. I'm bringing the throttle down to get it to come back down. And put my throttle back up a little bit, about halfway. I'm wondering if we're getting some drift because I have bounced it off the ground a few times now out here on the real hard surfaces. And that can throw the calibration off, which the manual covers stick commands on the calibration. Let's go up. Now it's switched to altitude mode. I think once you get over a certain altitude, it switches. Might be about 10 meters, about house roof line. You can still fly the quad. It's just helping you maintain your altitude up here. So that's a fairly interesting and unique feature, at least for me, in the quads that I typically fly. It does not want to come down. I haven't been able to test these things inside, so that's why I'm spending a little bit more time, and I'll cut out what I can to make this viewable. So my throttle came clear down to the teens before it really started to descend much. And we're back into position hold, and now, whoa, it's drifting all over the place here. Oh. Here we go. Now my hands are off, and it's doing a better job of holding its position. You can see it making some minor adjustments there. Might have had some optical or sensor issues, especially with the moisture. Our yard tends to get pretty wet. Okay, back to angle mode here. Now, one thing I can't remember is acro, or what we oftentimes in beta flight terms call rate mode. Been flying for about 3 minutes here. Did give it that one big punch, and our voltage is currently at 3.5 volts per cell, or just a touch over 7 volts. The manual it comes with is pretty thorough, but the printed one that comes in the kit is super small. I wasn't able to read it. I was actually taking pictures with my phone before I got a PDF of the manual and was able to just look at it on a computer screen. That's something else to be aware of. It does have a good manual, but the one that's included is super small, like pocket manual sized, and they've fit a lot of information in there. I typically don't talk when I fly either, so this is a fairly unique experience for me as well as people who visit the channel regularly. Got about 4 minutes now on the flight. Voltage is at about 3.4 volts per 4 or 5 volts per cell. Let's go ahead and land and see what the batteries recover to. Get a better idea of how much voltage recovery we get on disarm. Okay. And disarm. So the voltage is coming back up to 3.56. It was down at about 3.59. That's voltage per cell. You probably noticed that I did not get it into acro mode and show you that, which is my traditional flight mode. And I did figure out why that was. It wasn't as though I was doing something simple wrong. But if you look closely at these buttons, this is our different flight modes. You know, you've got up here, you've got altitude hold or position hold, and then you've got angle mode, and all the way down at the bottom. Yeah, that's supposed to be acro. It's supposed to be a 3-position switch, and it just does not go into that 3rd position. If we compare it to this one over here, we get solid all 3 positions. So unfortunately that meant I couldn't show you acro mode, which I really was looking forward to, but hopefully my counterparts out there were able to effectively show that as well. So this is how everything comes in the kit. You've got everything you need minus an SD card. You will have to supply your own SD card to record your DVR files in the goggles itself. One of the things that I think would hold me back, but it's because I've got a longevity with flying and I've got a personal preference as to what fits me the most, is the shortness of the sticks is very short. I suspect, although I'm not a thumber, this would work better for people that fly with thumbs versus those like myself where I'm a hybrid pincher. And it is a fairly small remote. So, you know, getting those micro commands on our flying were a little bit more difficult, I think, for me than if we were to have longer sticks available on the radio. You could probably DIY some sticks. They do spin off, they unscrew just like traditional sticks, so you could get longer stick ends or adjust these up. You can see we've got quite a bit of thread up here that we could maybe just get those to where they're about this length if we have a set screw. I didn't notice a set screw in my kit, but that doesn't mean it doesn't come with one. The charger underneath the quad here It's neatly down inside this little stack. If I can get it all out, things are packed in there fairly tightly. I mentioned it. There's a button here on the side, so when you have it powered on, which it does come with a USB wall wart as well, CaddxFPV branded. They recommend using that. Of course, it comes with it, so why not? We also get USB cables that you can use with that. But after you've got it power connected, if you press this button, these will flash and it'll switch modes, going from charging mode to storage charging mode, which is something we do not see in ready to fly kits much. And that will help protect the longevity and health of the batteries. If you're not going to fly for a while, say you're not going to fly for a week or 4 or 5 days, it's best to put them at storage charge and then charge them right before you're going to go out to fly. What I do is I tend to charge the night before, so when I'm ready to fly the next day, I have charged batteries. But that's a fairly unique feature, pretty self-explanatory as far as how they slide in there. The quad itself is all plastic, and they have a lot of different information that comes stuck to this about the propellers. And like I said, their manual is pretty good. This is a little bit of a closer look at the sensors that it uses to hold the position, as well as I think altitude hold that might be integrated into the flight controller. But obviously, after you get up above 4 meters, it'll switch at some point from altitude hold or from position hold to altitude mode hold. Because it can't see the ground for those optical flow sensors. So it's just going to hold you in a height. So you will have to fly it at once you get above 4 meters. I saw it switching anywhere from 5 to 7 meters before it would go into altitude hold mode. And above 4 meters, the position hold doesn't work as nearly as well as it does at 4 meters or lower. This also gets very hot. They warn you about that. There's a sticker that comes on this that tells you not to touch this area. That's the heat sink for the video transmission system. It does get hot. That is normal. All of our video transmission systems, whether this one or another one, they all get pretty hot in use. We do get a small or simple repair kit. It's just another canopy, so if you get too heavy-handed with any of these sliding batteries in or out, you have an option to replace it with one replacement that does come with the kit, as well as I should draw out, and I don't think I mentioned it when I was outside flying, the camera angle is adjustable. It doesn't go super high. Of course, if you go higher than the canopy allows, you're going to be looking at the canopy, so you've got to get this. I would say that's probably about your maximum camera angle. As far as the goggles go, the interface inside that you use this joystick over here to drive is very, very similar if you're familiar with the Walksnail video system that Caddx has also on the market. And I'll put some imagery from that. That gives you a little bit of a flavor or feel for what you'll see inside the goggles. A couple of things that are different that are noteworthy is this system with this particular VTX in this drone does 25 milliwatts or 100 milliwatts. That is the power at which it emits the video transmission signal. It also does recording at either 1080p or 720p. Those are the only two options. You can change the frame rate. The max frame rate is 60 frames per second, and you can change that down if you were to choose to. Most of the other options inside are pretty traditional or pretty standard as far as being able to play back the DVR inside the goggles, and the SD card, as I mentioned, goes right up in here. A little better look at those screws, or the areas where you would screw in a diopter for vision correction if you were to need that. It does have a fan inside as well, and we've got air holes around here. I did not have any problems with any sort of condensation or fogging, but it's not warm out right now. We're in fall or autumn, so getting an 84 to 87 degree day has kind of been the high over the last 2 weeks, and I haven't seen any fog come on the screen. The band is very stretchy. I have a very large head, and I did have to shorten the strap, which is unusual for me. It does have this little pad, which makes it slightly more comfortable. Of course, you plug in power right down here. If you activate the DVR so you don't do record on ARM, which was one of the interface options, you just press this button, you get a little red dot on the screen, indicates that you're recording. This is just the back button, so you drive the interface here and you press down, and then you use the back button there to get back in the interface. So that is the CaddxFPV Protos with the new digital video system Ascent that they have out now. I'm sure we'll see other standalone VTXs and things like that, but this is their first product that they're launching with the Ascent video system. And as I started the video with, it's kind of surprising the price at $360. We don't really see that in ready-to-fly kits much anymore. And with it being a higher quality image transmission system with everything you need, including the wall wart and a storage based or a charger that does storage, that's pretty remarkable. It's not going to be a fit for everyone perfectly. I am disappointed that I wasn't able to show you acro mode. I do plan to try to take the remote apart to see if I can fix that switch, and maybe I can come back with another video on just acro mode later. If you do have any comments, questions, suggestions, or otherwise, please let me know in the comments section below. I appreciate your time. Thanks for watching.